Hey, happy Friday. If you're listening to this on Friday, I'm so glad you made it to the end of the week. We have been talking about the principle of what you feed will grow, what you starve will die, and how that has so many different areas of our life where it's true. Whether it be in your physical eating habits, whether it be in your exercise habits, whether it be in your relationships, and whether it be in your walk with Jesus, what you feed will grow, what you starve will die. Yesterday, I shared a verse with you, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 7. It says, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever man sows, that he will also reap. For the one that sows to the flesh will reap from the flesh, and the one that sows from the Spirit will reap from the Spirit." And I love that idea of what you sow, you'll reap. And by sowing, plant it in the ground, you'll reap. Here's one of the problems that I think happens as we think about actions, and we don't think about actions in terms of habits. We think about actions in terms of individual actions. A lot of the actions we do truly are habit. Your body is wired, your brain is wired to run on habit, and so you tend to repeat the same actions. Now, just like when a farmer plants a seed in the ground, there is not an immediate plant that shoots up. It's not like you can take let's say an apple seed and walk over and stick it in the ground, and in a day or even a week or even a month, you're not going to get an apple tree. It's going to take some time. Even with fast growing things like, take a corn kernel and throw it in the ground, you're not going to get an ear of corn right away. And so I think this is a challenge because sometimes we do things that we don't realize are harmful because there's no immediate effect. I shared with you about my ice cream eating habit. I don't normally see an immediate effect, so I don't notice that I'm gaining a little bit of weight because my weight is a lagging measurement of my eating habits. But in the same way, I don't necessarily notice all the time right away if I read my Bible or if I pray. It's not like I feel instantaneous change. And so sometimes you think, well, it's not worth it. It's not really doing anything. We have to remember that what we sow, we reap, and that what you feed will grow, what you starve will die, and that there's a compound effect with these. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11 says, "Discipline is painful for now, but in the end it will yield a harvest of righteousness." And so I love this concept. There's a book called Atomic Habits that talks about the power of the 1%. How if you just get 1% better at something over time, how radically it actually changes. So let me give you an example. Now, this is it's a funny one. If you, let's say you're weightlifting, and let's say, you're a real tough dude, listen to this. And so you can already bench press 200 pounds, or you could squat 200 pounds, which is a great weight to be able to do. Most people cannot do that. But let's imagine that you get 1% better at your bench press or your squat over the course of a year. How much do you think you'll be benching? If you start with 200 pounds and you get 1% better over the course of the year, what do you think you'll be at? Well, the answer is at the end of 1 year, you would be able to bench 335 pounds if you just get 1% better every day. I found that from ChatGPT. Let's ask it right now. What if I start my bench with 100 pounds? So old ChatGPT says, if you start your bench press with 100 pounds and get 1% better every week, then at the end of the year, you'll be benching 167 pounds. That is a huge difference, but it's so incrementally small, it's hard to notice. The same thing is with, let's say with savings. If you start investing $100 a week, which I know most of you probably can't do, but let's say you started investing $100 a week, and every week you increased it by $1. So the next week, $101, the next week, $102. At the end of the year, you would have saved $7,500. That's a lot. This is how the stock market works. This is how your credit card works, compound interest. I say all of this just to encourage you that habits have compound interest. Actions have consequences, but habits have compound interest. And so sometimes you can do a stupid action and there might be an immediate consequence. It may be big, it may be little. Sometimes if the consequence is little, we do more stupid things. Habits don't have consequences. Habits have compound consequences, compound interest. Good habits sometimes have very small, there's no day you're going to work out and change your life. But if you'll work out 3 times a week, 4 times a week, you will transform your body. There's no one day that you're going to read the Bible that's probably going to radically change everything forever, although God could choose to do that. But if you will commit to it a little bit each day on a regular basis, you will transform who you are. You will transform your relationship with God, your wants and your desires. I don't just say this as a hypothetical. This is what happened to me. My life changed, first and foremost, when I put my faith in Jesus. But secondly, when I committed to reading my Bible every single day. Now, if you want to start that practice, first off, I'll just commend you. You're listening to Guided by Faith. You can do this 5 out of the 7 days a week. You can listen to this podcast Monday through Friday as you're driving, as you're brushing your teeth for 5 minutes, whatever you're doing. Compound interest by listening over and over and over again. When I started reading my Bible every day, I started with the book of Proverbs. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs. There's 31 days in the longest month of the year. So whatever the day of the month it is that you're listening to this, read that chapter of Proverbs, and then tomorrow read the next one. And I did this for 3, 4, maybe 5 months in a row, just developing the habit of reading God's word. And now I can tell you, I don't have to make myself read the word. Like it's like I don't have to make myself eat. I'm gonna eat. I don't have to make myself read the Bible. I'm gonna read God's word because I crave it and I see the difference in me. Actions have consequences. Habits have compound consequences, compound interest. And what you feed will grow, what you starve will die. So as we finish out this week, I want you to analyze what are the habits in my life that are having negative compound consequences, and what could be a habit that I incorporate into my life that if I would do this consistently would have a massive, healthy compound effect in my life. Because God's word is true. What you sow, you will reap. What you feed will grow. What you starve will die. Feed the right things, starve the right things, and reap the rewards over the long term. Great to talk to you this week. Look forward to being with you again next week. Have a great weekend.